Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We are doing a fall bronze transformation on my dear client Andrea. So we are starting off with some grown out blondes. She only really comes in around like 2, maybe 3 times a year at like the max. And then she also lives down like 2-3 hours away from me now too. So we are gonna try to make this color. We try to make this color last as long as she can. And yeah, that's what we're doing now. We're just kind of doing that more fall, wintry blonde, more so blonde for her too. So I'm parting her off with a mohawk sectioning off the natural part. So I take the natural part and then I kind of split it up in a mohawk section, and then I take the 2 sides, clip those out of the way, and then I clip the front out of the way. What I'm doing is we're going to do a full head of lowlights with a partial highlight also. So in the mohawk area, that's where I'm going to be doing the some of the highlight touch-ups. The reason why is because even though we're darkening her, since she does only come in around 2-3 times a year, I didn't want to make it, if I just low-lighted her today, it would go from looking like grown-out blonde to just a grown-out blondie brunette kind of color. And then she'd feel like she needs her hair done again in a couple months, and that's not it. So I did very few highlights. I did like one very rooty Teasylight to 2, sometimes 3 lowlights. And then how I did the lowlights was most of them I went all the way down from root to tip. Some of them though too, I just pulled down a few inches just so that, again, I just wanted it very, like, she was like a rooted highlighted blonde, and now I just want to make her like an extremely rooty blondie brunette blonde moment with just a lot of movement, and that was the best way to do it. I am very visual, so I just kind of like saw each section for what I kind of wanted to do. Like I said, I didn't want to do too many highlights back to back, so I just did like one highlight every few sections. And then when it came to the lowlights, it was like, just what do I feel like this section needs? Does it need to be all the way down? Does it not? For the lightener, I use Oligo Extra Blonde and Cool Tone Blonde. I use 25 volume with an 1/8 of an ounce of Olaplex in it. And then for her lowlights, I use Oligo Calura Gloss. And I did 7GI. And then I filled it a little bit with just a little bit of 9G with 6N. So I did, I believe I did 40 grams of color. So I did 15 grams of, or no, I'm sorry, I did 20 grams of 7GI, and I did 15 grams of 6N, and I did about 5 grams of 9G, just to give it a little bit of filling and a little bit of a control while I was at it too. And I used the cream developer for that as well. For my section sizing, I did pretty fine slices for my lowlights. I have found that getting the most even saturation is just more so just like very fine sectioning. I like to use my From Our Power Painter brush too. I feel like that helps to, 1, it gives me the quickest application, and 2, the saturation in it for my lowlights is super spot on. And then same thing as well too for my Teasylights. Now for the face framing. So we like some face framing on Andrea, but we do not at all want it too stripy. So I do all Teasy baby lights. So as you see, I weave every section, and then I don't really need like that super pop in the front. So I don't even, I let a little bit of dropout happen right in that front hairline as well. I just kind of go along the curvature of the head. So most of the time doing the curvature of the head means I'm taking like diagonal back sections, and then I just do like side to side. So I'll do a couple on the right side, I'll go to a couple on the left side, and then I break it up and meet in the middle. Sometimes people do have more horizontal face shapes, and if that's the case, then I am able to just do them, just use one foil for like left to right, but most of the time it's this way, which is perfectly fine. And then also what you can see, I don't know how much you can see, but I am teasing more and more and more every section I go back. So at first I saw off just a little bit of tease, and then the further I go back, the more tease I'm adding in, as you kind of can see here. And of course I'm using my highlighting board. I can't live without it. It's just the From Our one. And then I'm trying to think of what else. My foils are From Our. My clips are either From Our or Wet Brush, and just your basic foiling comb then too. All right, we're about to move on to the side. So what you'll see is I am still following the hairline. The money piece, in my opinion, is still along the side, like the hairline of the sides and the back. So I'm just connecting all of that in together here. Again, still using the same weaving pattern. You see me weaving and teasing away. And then when I work on the interior of the side sew, I am just going to be low lighting. There's no need to add in any highlights there. That's my partial, that is my partial technique myself personally, is I use just the mohawk and then the hairlines, and that's it. When I'm doing more of like the half highlight or a half balayage, that's where I'll do the complete mohawk and the sides. When I do my mohawks as well, when I'm doing partials, I also scoop a little bit up in the back as well. So I normally, when I do the mohawk, if I'm doing a full, I'll stop right at the apex, so that very top of the head. But just to make sure that there's some coverage in the back that covers the crown, I'll always kind of dip it back a little bit more, and I'll go down around like 2 inches as well. So you get the most coverage, you get as much coverage as possible with that. So as you can see, now I'm going to start doing my low lighting, and I just kind of take my sections following along the curvature of the head as well. I honestly take sections as if I was balayaging and just kind of go through. I kind of just see, where do I see a lot of blonde at? Where do I see it needing broken up at? And I just kind of low light as I see fit. I even kind of did that when I was along the mohawk as well. So yeah, I just kind of keep this up on this side and the other side, and then when you see me work my way to the back too, again, all low lighting. I did all my highlights already. They're all, well, other than the other side. The back, I'll just have to do the underneath hairline, and then yeah, just mainly low lighting from here. So I'm just gonna let you guys keep kind of watching along, and then I'll catch you guys when I'm at the shampoo bowl. All right, I lied. I wanted to explain what I was doing in the back just a little bit. So what I am doing is, again, I'm going along the natural hairline, still weaving a little bit and then teasing just slightly as well, and just touching up these as I go too. So again, this is just as important of the money piece as the front and the sides are too. So depending on most balayages, I am doing the underneath hairline in my partials. Sometimes for highlights, I won't if my clients don't wear their hair all the way up. If they don't feel like they need it, it just kind of depends. I kind of ask them, like, do you wear your hair all the way up? Is it important for you to have your highlights under here? And I just kind of go with that as I will. So I follow this all the way. I follow all the way through the curvature of her hairline, and then once when I'm done with the bottom hairline, then that is where I'll go and do most of my low lighting. She had quite a bit of grown out blonde once when in the nape area of her head, so I really didn't do a ton of low lighting there, just because, I mean, you see how dark her hair is. Nothing would show up anyway. It'd be a waste of time. So it was more so like once when I got over the occipital area, so over the part where the head starts to curve, is where I kind of was starting to low light again. And I just went through with again, finer slices. I took a little bit of thicker slices in the back, but just to make sure that, saturation wouldn't be a problem and processing wouldn't be a problem, I still kept them pretty fine. And if I needed to, I just kind of applied them a little bit closer together. I mean, my spoils a little bit closer together if I felt like I wanted more darker coverage. But yeah, that was pretty much how I did the back. And then she processed for, I'd say, around like 45 minutes. That's the other thing too, is even though I use 25 volume and still even like the foils are processing now, And still on top of that, her hair still needed quite a bit of time to process. So just give it time. You know, like I said, she's got very, very thick hair. Her strands themselves are very thick as well. So you just kind of have to keep that in mind. And that's half the reason why, you know, she knows that she's got to be there for half a day when she's getting her hair done is, you know, we just, to keep her integrity intact, we just, you know, we sit and let it process. And once it's done, then we'll let it be done. All right, now back here at the bowl, I pre-toned her with Fanola, no yellow and no orange shampoo. I have Olaplex number 8 sitting on her ends right now. And then I applied, for her root, I did Redken Shades Cream. So not the gloss, I did the cream. I did 2N with 20 volume. And then I let that sit. I did more of a, I'd say like more of a root smudge. I drug it down like a good 2 inches, closer to 3 in the back. I let that sit for the first, I'd say around like 10 minutes on its own. And then the last 10 minutes is when I went through and applied the toner. So for her toner, I used Oligo Calura Gloss, and I did 7GI again with 7AI, a little bit of 8AG. So that's their new 8 Ash Gold. It's comparable. It's similar to like the matte, like the M line from Redken Shades EQ, if you don't know that. And then 7V, and I used the gloss, the lotion developer, and I let that sit for the last 10 minutes then too. All right, here is the finished look. I am so obsessed. It is so gorgeous. It's like that perfect way to take your blonde darker for fall and for winter without her having to compromise all of the lightness in her hair. And like I said, this is a very ashy color. She knows that it's gonna wash out and that her blonde will eventually want to lighten up and peek through, you know, eventually anyway too. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm just going to be showing a few more before and after clips here in a second, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Bye.